came to Ibiza in 1959 after I found certain aspects of my life in America becoming too difficult. I wandered around Europe for a time and eventually came here. I liked life here. I liked the island. I liked the atmosphere. I liked the people. And so I decided that is the place where I want to settle. The island is simpatico, as they say in Chinese. There is always a group of interesting people here. I find the people amusing. Sandy, come and say something witty. Ibiza is not a place of snobbish society. That's not London, it's not Paris, it's not Omaha. It is Ibiza, and that's the charm of Ibiza, and that's what makes Ibiza why we like to live here. Ibiza is Ibiza, and here people who themselves, you know, doing rather strange things all the time, you know, so they shouldn't really be shocked. And everybody minds everybody else's business very intensely.
Several months ago, I read an article about Elmyr de Hory, and I was so impressed that I decided to come from Minnesota to Ibiza in the hope of meeting Elmyr, and now I've become his bodyguard.
That's Mark speaking, Elmyr's friend. He takes his duties seriously. Elmyr himself swears that he goes in daily dread of being murdered. This takes us into murky waters, where the lawyers tell us we'd be rash to go fishing. In Fake, there's just a hint or two about this violence and danger, as a result of which Irving, on top of all his other troubles, is being sued for $55 million worth of slander. Interesting question. Is Clifford Irving being sued for telling the truth?
What makes a slight legal difference?
Well, if you can buy the notion that Cliff Irving turned to forgery before he turned to Elmyr, then I guess you can keep right on through the looking glass and believe that his book about Elmyr is a pack of lies.
I'm sorry, lie about what?
That Fake is a fake, and Elmyr himself is a fake faker.
Fake fakes.
Fake nothing. Elmyr's a true faker. Here, for instance, is a Van Dungan by Elmyr. Van Dungan studied it carefully and then swore that he painted it himself.
He's now known as the greatest art forger in the world.
Well, I don't admit anything, I just talk about it.
Because he's scared. I mean, you know, there could be a jail sentence hanging over his head.
Elmyr, cries a French newspaper, has sold his soul to the devil. They said that about a wizard of the fiddle. Elmyr's another wizard of another sort of fiddle, a true Paganini of the palate.
It's no wonder that a faker like Elmyr can get away with it for 22 years.
If you hang them in a museum in a collection of great paintings, and if they hang long enough there, they become real.
Because there's always a market for it.
How much is that drawing worth in the market today?
Probably around $8,000 to $10,000.
To my knowledge, he has never made a mistake when identifying a painting.
What period is that, Matisse?
36. I feel that we should burn it.
When he looks at a painting of Matisse or Chagall and says, "That's mine, I did it," he is always right.
Elmyr.
We could find a Modigliani made by Kissling, a Modigliani by Elmyr, and one Modigliani by Modigliani. It could be anyone from Knödler till Pearls or any of the great ones who consider themselves great and experts. And if any of them recognize which one is which...
And if the lawyers would just let us, we could name you one highly respected museum which boasts of an important collection of post-impressionists, every single one of which was painted by Elmyr.
Elmyr, as the great faker of the 20th century, becomes a modern folk hero for the rest of us, who have a bit of loss in ourselves, but simply don't have the courage or the opportunity to express it.
When you wrote this biography, you don't think you have been a little hard on him?
Some people even say, after I did read the book of Clifford Irving about you, I like you even more than before. You exploded the myth of the infallibility of the art dealers and museum directors, and that you expose their crookedness, their evilness and viciousness. He worked very little, he died very early, so if they added to fewer paintings or fewer drawings, it's not going to destroy his oeuvre.
I would say this is a fake, and the art gallery owner would say, well, yes, of course. I mean, you can see it's a fake because Modigliani would never have drawn the line of the arm parallel to the line of the dress that way, and the background is very badly done and the signature isn't right. In the next gallery, I would show them this Modigliani in the catalog and say, that's a genuine Modigliani.
Possibly, yes.
And they would look at it and say, well, yes, you can see it's one of his finest Modiglianis. It's a portrait of Mademoiselle Eboutin, and we know it very well, and it's reproduced everywhere. After that, I must say I lost my faith in the concept of expertise.
I don't feel bad for Modigliani, I feel good for me.
You name him, he paints them. He'll do your Doofy, Van Dongen, Derain, Braque, Bonnat, Vlaminck. Would you like a nice Matisse?
Many of these drawings are very weak. Matisse's lines were never that sure as mine. He was hesitant when he made the drawing, you know. He added to it a little more and a little more. It wasn't as flowing, it wasn't as sure as mine. I had to hesitate to make it more Matisse-like. However, I would like to see any expert or any museum director or any art dealer would know which one is a Matisse and which one is by Elmyr.